Hey everyone. So, a lot of yous had questions um, regarding the people who sold me the house. Um, what happened was they bought a house just down the street from here, like within walking distance, and but the house had been flooded because remember I told you just about the entire town flooded. But this end of the street didn't flood. It's kind of like goes up a hill. It's kind of the higher part of the town where my house is located. But I guess they got the house for like 44,000. But all the wiring needed redone in it, and there was just a lot of work. And then the city or the town, whatever, had turned on the water down there prior to them living there, and something about a pipe in the ceiling had burst. So then they had that issue that they had to fix, and they had to fix the ceiling. So the town is giving them a hard time getting power turned on, even though they had an electrician redo everything. And anyway, it's just they've had to buy permit after permit after permit. All these towns are corrupt. And I'm thinking that because they didn't use the town's electrician, and they used a different one, is why they're having this issue. If it had been the town's electrician that they paid all the money to do the house, then everything would have been fine. They would have had power by now. It's just the way these places around here operate. Okay, well, they still don't have power. So we closed on my house on the 29th of September. I didn't move in till it was right before Halloween. Maybe like a couple weeks, right at, before the end of the month. Like the middle of the month I moved into the house. So I let them stay in the house for, I don't know, a week or so after I bought it. And then I let them stay on the property in their camper until like the end of October. Then they pulled their camper down to their house after they had gotten a pole of some kind of service set up for the camper. Only the service isn't even strong enough to run the entire camper, I don't guess. But they still have no power in the house. So anyway, they're using a generator to be able to be in the house some. And like I said, it's a mess. But anyway, like I said, they still don't have power, and this has been since the beginning of October or before that they started working on it. Okay, so here's another thing. You can buy a house if you have under $8,000 in cash. You could probably buy a house if you've got $700 in cash. As long as your credit score is between like a 7 and 800. As long as your credit score is good. Now they do have the Farmers Home Administration loans, which is not as good as the USDA, but I didn't have to have a down payment. The people that sold me the house was willing to pay the majority of the closing cost, and the bank rolled whatever was left of the closing cost into my loan for me. So y'all, all I really had to pay for was the inspection of the house, which was about $5 something. And then somehow, when we did the closing, I ended up getting right at $200 of that back. I forget how that worked out. So honestly, you don't have to have a lot of money to buy a house. I always heard that you could buy a house with no money. Well, pretty much, they're right. You can. But like I said, your credit score has to be good. Um, and my percentage rate ain't high, but it ain't as low as it could be if I had went to like a regular bank, which, I probably could have done, because as long as the bank does USDA loans. But, so if you need in the house and you're on a fixed income, you can buy a house, with USDA. Like I said, you just have to have good credit. And you can do it with probably under $600-700. So yeah, and I mean, I kind of lucked up. This house is sound, it's solid. It does need, as y'all know, some work. It needs some cosmetics, and a couple of toilets need change, and I do get kind of disgusted because, I don't make a lot of money. I make enough to pay the bills, and just enough to pay the bills, and that's about it. So, and sometimes come a little short on that, and I have to go do something on the side, to get a few more bucks. But anyway, so I just wanted to tell you, what the deal was with the people that sold me the house, and what they're having to go through. I'm just glad I'm not having to go through that. All right then, y'all. Take care.